get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard and seen all across the World Wide Web. We are so excited that you are joining us. We know that all of our live streaming platforms are, building up the audience, sending out notifications saying, hey, the show is live. Come check us out. So welcome to all those that'll be joining us from 3 different places on Facebook, from LinkedIn, from YouTube, from Twitter, from Sharvette.com. We appreciate you always. And for those that are checking us out in the podcast version, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeart, we love you. Certainly Blog Talk Radio. Y'all all been holding us down for years and years. And those that are just hanging out, checking us out from Sharvette.com. We appreciate you. So today's show, we're going to be talking about the ups and the downs behind building a media and marketing brand with Coffe Summers. She is with us in the virtual studio right now, tuning in, checking us out, because I am telling you, this is going to be so good and it's going to be so interesting. I encourage you actually to tag someone, to tag a business bestie and say, you need to check this out. Even if you're listening from the podcast, guess what? You can share a podcast link. Yeah, go ahead and do that. We also want to let you know that this segment is brought to you by my upcoming free masterclass that is happening this coming Saturday, October 15th. You are invited to a masterclass hosted by yours truly. It's all about growing your following. So wherever you are right now, guess what? You can grow it. All right. And so complimentary access is available to you. You can join me at joinsharvette.com. Also, if you're listening from Sharvette.com, it probably popped up right there while you were on Sharvette.com. Join us. We're going to be starting at 10 a.m. Eastern on this coming Saturday. Grow Your Following, a part of our masterclass series that we are excited to present to all of our audiences and all of the things. And that is certainly tailored to and targeted to our entrepreneurs and our small business owners. Yes. Welcome. YouTube is coming on in. Hey, Kim and Deborah, thank you so much. Listen, my mom is here. She's always going to hold it down for us coming on in. If you're brand spanking new to us, definitely let us know where you are listening and watching from in the comments. We want to show you some love. So let me introduce my guest, because again, she's in the virtual green room. She's ready to come up to the mic and have this great conversation, the ups and downs behind building a media and marketing brand, with our guest, Coffe Summers. Listen, Coffe is a rising journalist. She's a media enthusiast whose goal in life is to wake up every morning doing what she loves and helping others do the same. She has an affinity for arts, and creativity has always helped her move through the world with love and confidence. It drove her to pursue an artistic avenue, but she didn't know where to start exactly. She did know that whatever it would be centered in media and entertainment. Well, guess what? Coffe runs her own publication called Coffe, and Coffe focuses on the lifestyles of growing entrepreneurs, and it can be found at coffeemag.com. Her desire is to explore connections through arts, and she wants to bring new talent to the forefront, give them a platform. But guess what? She's also interviewed and covered stories from industry leaders such as Timeekah Murphy, Luxury Law, Lisa Price, T.J. Jackson, and more. And guess what? Coffe Summers is here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Put your hands together and welcome her up to the virtual studio. Hey, Coffe, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Excited to have you here and tuning on in. with our listeners. And I definitely want to jump right on in because this creativity, this creative space that you were in, you kind of started out with photography and
Yeah.
graphic design and social media management. So tell me a little bit about that part of your life that kind of led you
Well, I
here.
kind of wanted to go into advertising or work for a magazine. But I got out of school like a little bit right after 9/11. So, people were losing their jobs left and right. And then I'm like, okay, let me go back to school. So I went back to school for graphic design. And again, the economy was still struggling coming out of school at that time. And so I'm like, I'm just going to start my own media company if I can. And it was such a struggle finding consistent help, even with photography. So I'm like, well, let me tackle this photography beast first. And then I got hooked on photography. So I was taking a break. And then I'm like, oh, I didn't finish the magazine. So I still had the passion for doing the interviews and, creating those storylines and, even on a documentary level. And so I kind of pivot back to the magazine, and I've been doing that consistently really since 2009, but like dead on consistency since 2018 because I kept taking those miniature breaks.
And here we are. And I love how you talk about, really kind of trusting the process through all of this with all of its messy glory, right? And so what was the catalyst though, because the photography is comfortable, probably maybe graphic design is comfortable, but like producing a whole magazine, which pulls in all of those skill sets, what was the catalyst that said, no, I really literally need to do my own publication, in addition to maybe not being able to find kind of really good connections through other people's platforms?
There's always gatekeepers in industry. So I felt like since I was from the Midwest, it was kind of difficult to hit those larger corporations. I didn't grow up in it. And so that was my self-doubt. But the catalyst was I was a huge magazine fan, but I continued to see the same stories written or the same people on the cover. And it's like, I know everything about this person I could possibly know. It was like, I know underground people that are doing great things. How come they haven't made it to the cover? Yeah. And so that was like my push, my motivation to say, okay, other people are doing great things. Not saying one is better than the other, but everybody deserves that front page, that front and center, that, that kind of award moment to say for a month, you're going to talk about just me. Yeah. And so that's kind of why I just kept going. And, I was able to interview people locally, but I was the type of person, all you can do is ask. If someone says no, well, they say no. So I would send email to like every big name email I could find. And, some people that were like on the bridge, who didn't have that, that security around them were hitting me back. And so that's why I was able to get, some of those larger names before they were like, they were iconic then to me because I was but before the world was like, oh, I know this person. And to me, that's usually how it goes. Somebody needs a stamp, but they got stamped from other places. I wasn't the first, but I was very excited that I was able to just say, hey, I'm appreciating the motivation, inspiration that you guys are giving us.
Wow. And the opportunity to cover those stories. And so how do you find, guests for, your magazine?
I kind of just get in the mood. I know that's weird, but I figure it's mine. It's no rules. So, sometimes it's like, okay, let's find what will motivate or what other articles that I want to go with this person. So let's find someone in this industry, or who haven't we covered? Or at the point now, some people email me and say, hey, when do you have an opening? I'm like, you know what? You are a good story. And it's becoming easier because, I am accessible, I feel. Versus saying, no, that's not what we're going for right now, because I know that sometimes numbers do lie when it comes to social media. And those people have a larger following with smaller numbers sometimes than the people that have larger numbers. So
So true. So true. And I am always saying and an advocate for like all levels of media, traditional media, new media. And so you are a great example in Coffee Magazine, which ladies and gentlemen that are watching, it is spelled correctly on, that is not a spelling error. I'm going to have you talk about that. Those are not spelling errors. That's how you can get to a coffeemag.com. But I'm always talking about, even in my platform builder program, those of you that are a part of that 12-month program know that one part of my framework is media and seeking media attention. So those that are interested in the platform builder program, go check that out at platformbuilder.biz, because the actual waitlist is open. But media is so important in all levels and all formats. And like you said, you might be more accessible than the New York Times, and sometimes people have said, but guess what? All media is great media. Right. And so your site looks amazing. And why is media important in telling different stories?
It's really where we've all received entertainment, whether it was just the radio, if it was a record player, if it was an ad or a posting you seen, like a flyer. It started like a long time ago, even with the newspaper. But because of the evolution of technology, you don't have to wait a week, to say, okay, this is what's coming out. These are stories I want to hear. And even if it's fictional stories, those form of media still gives people like me inspiration to say, oh, I can do this. I was a huge fan. I'm still a huge fan of Queen Latifah. So when Living Single came out, I'm like, yes, that is me when I get that age. And it was just because it didn't matter what was going on in her life. It didn't matter if she was hitting rock bottom and magazine wasn't successful. She was like, this is what I want to do because I refuse to clock in. Like, my brain cannot handle me working and being in this box for someone else. And so it didn't matter what job I took, even if I had like management level job, I still was unsettled. And so to me, that every time I approached the situation, I came at it with the media angle, like, oh, how is someone perceiving this? And so it was to the point I couldn't shake it. And so I feel like everything, even with media, music videos, they have always shaped the way someone goes about their day, even if it's unconsciously.
Yes.
You look up and say, why did I start wearing this color? And you look on TV and everybody on TV has this color on. Like, okay, that's what it is. And so that's usually how I see it. I dissect it in that way versus just going along with the flow.
Oh, right. And so your magazine, Coffee Magazine, is it digital? Is it print?
It is digital and print. So quarterly it's printed. I just started maybe a year and a half ago doing digital covers. And that contains the article and just the digital cover. But you can just read it digitally. But I do like the magazine feel in my hand, and I was hoping that books weren't dead.
They are not.
Because I know dead. I know it's almost like a pack rat situation. But when I'm traveling, I don't want to be on my phone. When I'm entertaining or at rest, I don't want to be on anything less electronic unless I'm watching a movie. So like that paper, that paperback book, magazine, anything that I can flip through, that I can physically go back to or write on or mark up, is like, an all-time high for me.
All right. And I'd love for you to share how people can get a subscription and where they can find information about the magazine.
Well, on coffeemag.com, everything is there. You click on it, it's self-explanatory. If you want to be featured, it's on there. If you want a printed copy, it's on there. If you want to look at digitally, it sends you to the digital site. Everything is on there and it's pretty much laid out. That's one thing I do like about certain media, is that it's just upfront, no secret messages. You click here and you get to go where you want to go. So I try to keep it as basic as possible when it comes to navigating the site.
And I really feel like magazines like your magazine really compete with other maybe traditional magazines, because number one, you get speed to market quicker. You have a lot of different people that you are featuring, which gives, everybody has a fan base. That is my opinion. Everybody has a fan base. And so we have a lot of entrepreneurs that are listening to the show. And so I know that the Coffe magazine focuses on the lifestyle of growing entrepreneurs. So who would be a good match? Maybe we might have some listeners that you could feature. Who would be a good match for some of your upcoming articles?
My main thing is if you're an entrepreneur, make sure that you are, I wouldn't even say established, but that you have everything laid out for your brand. That's easy for me to find. Most people I can't contact because they don't have a visible email address. Ooh. They don't have a visible website. They don't have anywhere where it describes what they are doing. And so it's not that they don't have attraction or people visiting their social media, but social media literally is still a baby part of media. Yeah. So you still have to kind of go back to the basics when it comes to going in Coffe magazine. I'm not saying you got to earn your spot, but I can't just give it away.
Yeah. And listen, you are preaching what I be preaching, sister. Let me tell you. So you have to have your own foundational elements. What about photography? Does the person that wants to be featured in your magazine, the entrepreneur, want to be featured? Do they need their own photography?
Well, I try to tell them the specs for the photo to be great. And if that's an issue, I try my best because I am still I don't like to say small business, but I am a baby business. Yeah. And so I can't fly out everywhere to do a photo shoot. So certain spots I do have photographers. But I try my best if I'm not there to have creative control to, if you have something or you have something recent, let's use that. Because I know that it's a struggle, but I believe even in your first year of business, if you have pictures of your product, you should have pictures of yourself.
Yes.
I just posted this on LinkedIn, like maybe last week. We've been taking headshots since kindergarten. Every yearbook picture is a headshot. Okay. So with iPhone 800, whatever we own now, it's easy to just take something that is of a higher quality than maybe a picture from 5 or 6 years ago, just to represent yourself accurately. But if you can afford one photo shoot a year and you are a business owner, that's excellent. You only need about 5 good shots. And that's for those occasions when people are trying to give you praise for your business. Yeah. It is hard for them to do that if you have no photos.
Oh, so there you go.
It's nothing personal. It's just that they're protecting their brand as well as a media company. So
absolutely. And I would assume someone that has several photos and several different options for you would be easier to feature. It make your job easier, and it make the yes to their article be easier. So
because I have customers like they do. So they're gonna why would she put that picture in there? So it's just it's just for the aesthetic of the look, anything that you would buy. I try to keep a shopkeeper's mentality when I'm doing my work. Yeah. And say, if I was buying this, would I appreciate it? And if that answer is halfway and no, I need to work harder.
To work harder.
I need to work harder. So it's like somebody's cousin is a photographer. You may be able to get something for free, but you just need one good photo of yourself. Nothing major. I mean, if you're spending money on your business anyway, I would rather you have good representation of yourself.
Yeah, in particular, if you're seeking media attention or you want to be ready for a media opportunity like Coffe Magazine. All right, so what we're going to do is take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to jump into, I'd love to hear the ups that you've experienced, so this is kind of two-sided, like you are a business owner and also a media outlet. And then also maybe some of the downs, we'll share that. So we'll let you hang out in the virtual green room and have some virtual snacks. And we'll come back from our commercial break. All right. I love it. I love it. All right, listeners, this is a great time to go ahead and share this out. Such a great conversation. And we have a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Imagine what it would feel like to throw a spotlight on your business and draw attention to the great services you offer. Picture having the tools and strategies to elevate the marketing of your business. That's the mission of Mitchell Productions. We consult with women entrepreneurs and a few lucky men to help them get more customers by focusing on their visibility, their marketing, and their branding. In working with us, our clients generate more revenue and increase their brand awareness. We do this in a couple of ways with consulting services, the Platform Builder group coaching program, pop-up conferences, book collaborations, and the Sharvette Mitchell radio show. Hi, I'm Sharvette Mitchell, your online marketing strategist, your overwhelm eliminator, your platform builder, and your confidence igniter. Let's schedule a meet and greet call so that we can accelerate your marketing. All right, there's your personal invitation. So let's jump back in. We are chatting with Coffe Summers. She has an amazing publication, Coffee, mag.com. You can visit her there, and let me bring her back into the studio so that we can chat about the ups and the downs maybe that you've experienced while building, this media and marketing brand. So we'll start with the ups, actually. So what have been the positive things and the things that have really been a great benefit for you?
One major thing to me is having that networking connection. So I get a real drive hearing people excited about what they're doing. And so it's easier to do that if they know why they're telling you basically their business. So it created a circle of people that are so motivated about what they're doing. Sometimes they share tips for me as well because they want to see me grow as well. So just having that circle around you is like self-built of you putting that media aspect out there in the open, saying you're transparent about this, saying you want to help them as well. It's never a one-way street.
So true. So true. I love that. Networking, I think, is impactful for all of our businesses. Other ups that you've experienced?
Working for myself. When I'm ready to take a nap, I take a nap. It's just that creative freedom. I think sometimes we get in a position where we're so used to doing what we have to do that we don't get to enjoy those days. And, once you start losing loved ones or, you have anything go wrong, you're like, okay, do I want to look back at 80 and say I've done nothing? Or I didn't even attempt to do anything like that. I just can't live with that. So the up part is just trying and failing, trying and succeeding. It's like I say, it's just an adrenaline rush.
All right. And so downs, what are maybe some downs you would share? Kind of this, sometimes people feel like social media dresses up, entrepreneurship or dresses up, and people don't feel like they get the real deal. So what were maybe some downs that you experienced?
I guess downs would be, it kind of changed my perspective of things, and I didn't want it to. So, it created self-doubt because I grew up without social media and then social media happened. Yeah. So I got to see people, standing at the back door of concerts trying to get it. You got to see the struggle part of connecting. And then you got to see somebody go viral for doing one dance. And so it messes with your reality a little bit.
Yeah.
But not saying I never thought no one deserved it. It's just the process. Throws you off. So, the down of it is that you're used to working hard, but working hard isn't technically a guarantee. And so, it messes with you a little bit because you're passionate about your work. So that down part, and then another down part, I wouldn't say it's all social media, but it's just everyone wants a quick satisfaction. So I think before, or maybe 10 years ago, people were all for the push. Like, let's rally around. And then now it seems as if, I understand what you're doing now. I'm going to do it too. And they have no passion for it because you've known this person for like 20 years. Like, where did you come from? And so I don't think it's competitive. I just think people, they kind of, I guess I say it's hobbying your passion. So they just assume that this is nothing that you actually do. This is like not your perfect profession. Yeah. This is, so it's like they're downgrading it because it's not technically corporate work, but it's like, well, McDonald's started from somewhere. So
absolutely.
Absolutely. I would say the down is the small support you think you should have, and just adjusting to social media because it's ever changing.
Yeah.
So it's never a really bad thing. It's just a down part when you have to own your own. So you're responsible for you and whoever you're employing. So
whoever you're employing. And again, if you're just tuning in, we're chatting here with Coffe Summers. Check out coffeemag.com right here on the screen. If you're listening from any of our podcasts, just look down below in the show notes. Hello to YouTube. Look down below in the show notes. If you're at Sharvette.com, we have a full bio, a page dedicated to Coffee, and has all her links there. So Twitter and Instagram and the website, all of that is linked right there for you and very easily accessible. What about the responsibility that media has? So a lot of times people say this kind of a heavy weight of media impacts maybe people's esteem of how they see themselves. Mm-hmm. There's different conversations around weight. There's different conversations around if one ethnicity gets more media than another ethnicity. I don't know if you even want to talk, we could step our toe into the Kanye West. Like, that's an example of just always in the media. So there's but then some people say, well, hey, when Kanye West does this with the African-American community, it's all over. But then he's made some comments that were for another community and it's been hushed. The media feel like has been hushed. What do you say around, not specifically Kanye West, but just the weight of the responsibility of media?
I still think people are people. So at the end of the day, each media platform has a private owner or some target audience, because that's when you're building a brand. This is your company. So at some point you have to stop taking things, I guess, personal, and you have to pick who you want to spend your money with. So it's like if you don't like shopping somewhere, you're not going to continue to go in there. But people will complain about a station and continue to watch it. So it's like buying a CD and burning it. You've already bought it. So I don't, the stance on it. I think people like the opinion part is they kind of like it. You can't say that they're not driven by it either. It's a sales. Yeah. And some things are made to trigger you to have conversation, even if your conversation is positive. So I feel like as a media person, yes, I feel like you have a responsibility to just report facts. Now, how you report those facts, like I say,
that's it. That's up to you. That's good. That's good right there. And so again, we mentioned there may be some entrepreneurs that are listening and watching that would be a good fit to be featured in Coffee Magazine. Also, there's an opportunity for writers. So there are listeners and viewers who actually write and maybe have had a passion to write for a magazine or write an article. Are you open to receiving writers for your magazine?
Yes, currently I have a button you can click on if you want to just submit a piece. So you're not married to Coffee Magazine. You just want this particular piece out. As long as you completely own it and you completely wrote it yourself, we will put it on the blog as well as give you credit for that. We're all about sharing our platform. Yeah. We may have a little bit more followers than you have. And so you just really want the story to be heard. And I appreciate that. It's just everything has to be geared around the lifestyle entrepreneur. So anything that's going to help a business owner. I don't do any gossip. Never have. Okay. Not saying it's a bad thing. It's just that, like I say, I don't know if it's facts, and it's hard. Right. It's hard to fact check gossip. So I just always look at it like, do I want someone saying that about me? I really don't. So I don't feel like I'm off limits when I get to my goal. So I'm gonna keep it nice.
Well, that's good. That's good. So we know that what shows up in Coffee Magazine is authentic. And matter of fact, by you saying fact checking, literally, you know how Facebook pops up your memories so a memory popped up for me. I don't know, probably 7 years ago, where I took a personality test when I was in corporate America, and the results said when Sharvette comes on a hard situation, she tries to separate fact from fantasy. So that's interesting. We just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. I was like, okay, I resonate with that. So there's an opportunity potentially to be a writer, opportunity to be featured, and then certainly subscribe. People can subscribe to that. And so where are all the places you all are on social media that people can follow and connect?
Oh, everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, of course. Where else is there? There's a lot of places. YouTube.
Yes, I wanted to talk about
Yes.
Coffee House Studios, kind of like Coffee
Yes.
TV. Tell us about what happens over on your YouTube channel.
Well, like I said, I was interested in telling people's story on a video scale or, via film. So I have a couple of series that's on there. One is called 15 Minutes, and that's just you getting to know the actual business owner. Another one is called Coffee Interviewed, and it's kind of like Sharvette set up here, where you get to talk to the person I'm interviewing. And then I have a couple of other ones that I did on the growth to getting to Coffee Interviewed. So there's tons of interviews on there. So yes, so hopefully you'll see bigger film things on that little platform there. But yes, on YouTube is Coffee TV, Coffea TV.
And how did you come up with the spelling of your magazine?
Well, I didn't want to use my name because, as you can see, I only have one E.
People probably mess it up because before we came on, I was like, is it Coffee?
But I have black parents. You can bring it up. But I've been struggling for a long time, and I would say, "Okay, Mom, they're asking me at school, is it Coffee or Coffee?" She's like, "Oh, your dad says it's Coffee." I'm like, she's like, "Oh, does it? It does matter. It is my name." But so I kind of I went across a couple of names, and I'm like, okay, what could I do? Could I spell it different? And then I came across coffee with the A, which represents the coffee plant from where the coffee beans come from. So a lot of other countries do use coffee, and they may actually say it Coffea.
Oh,
but I look at it like you say Chelsea, right? You don't say Chelsea. So I want to call it, and I use coffee. So
I love it. I mean, I think it works. It's so perfect. And so when you grab your cup of coffee and read the magazine. Well, it has been great just chatting with you and hearing more about Coffee Magazine. We're going to keep our eyes subscribed to your YouTube channel. So we will keep our eye out on you. And the last question I have for you is the goal of this show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to motivate Coffee.
I would say myself. I know that's weird. I have gotten to a point at older I got is that if I can't motivate myself to get up, to figure out what I need to do, no one can do it. It's just like when anytime anyone's in a bad situation, they always say, well, that person has to decide for themselves.
Yeah.
And you have to do it or you will complain about support, money, equipment. And instead of saying, it's just something I want to do, I'm going to do it. So yes, I would say keep yourself in mind when motivation hits or you feel like you can't be motivated because you are the only one that can make yourself keep going. Nothing else is going to make you. I don't care what it is.
Well said. Well, a great way to end this segment. And thank you so much again for stopping by.
Thank you. I had fun.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Such a great conversation there. Also, entrepreneurs, there's some opportunity there for you. You could be featured in Coffee Magazine, or you could, if you are a writer, you could submit a article for Coffee Magazine and be in someone else's publication. So, connect. Again, Sharvette.com. Our main website has a full blog post for our guests, upcoming and past. So if you missed any portion, that's one of the best places. Or if you want to direct someone, that's one of the best places because all of the links are there for how you can connect with our guests. Also, how you can listen to the podcast version. All of that is right there. And again, a reminder, this segment is brought to you by my masterclass this coming Saturday, October 15th. Join me at 10 a.m. Eastern. All you have to do is register and go to joinsharvette.com, joinsharvette.com. And we're going to talk about growing your following. And FYI, getting media attention from an outlet that has an audience that doesn't know about you is one of the ways. It's one of the ways there. And so we are so excited that you stopped by. Great show. I agree. Great conversation there. Thank you so much. Thank you, Angela. She said, that's good. Valerie said, this is most informative. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. It's going to be a wrap here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. We'll be back with more amazing guests and all the things. And we'll see you all in these internet streets. And I hope I see you on Saturday for our masterclass. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Get Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m. interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.